Hey guys, what's up? My name is Eric and I'm the Techy Agent, and today we're taking a look at the BioStrap. The BioStrap comes in at $179 for just the band and $250 for the addition of the foot pod. Now let me just say right out of the gate that if you choose to only buy the band, you lose a lot of the functionality without the foot pod. So it really only makes sense to buy this with the foot pod. You'll also get 2 additional bands for the unit, and this has wireless charging for both the band and the foot pod. Now the band is lightweight and comfortable. It doesn't protrude off the wrist too far. It uses a uniquely shaped pin-style clasp to secure the band, and while I'm not personally a big fan of pin-style clasps, this does a good job of securing it to your wrist, and I haven't had any issues with it falling off. Now, the band is made of a very soft and slightly textured material, and it's a little bit of a dust and grime magnet, so be prepared to clean it off frequently. You do not get a screen with this device, and there are no buttons. You just wear it. All interaction with this device is done through the app, which is compatible for both iPhone and Android. The foot pod only needs to be worn during exercise, but to track all-day metrics such as your sleep and resting heart rate, you'll need to wear the band all the time. Now, this band will track your daily steps. It doesn't currently track all-day calories. That's something that's going to be coming in a firmware update eventually. But it does track active calories, and more on that in a moment. The differentiating factor between this band and other bands that you've already seen on the market is the biometrics that it collects. Now, before we talk about the biometrics, we need to understand the sensors. There is a 3-axis accelerometer on the wristband and also one on the shoe clip. Now, what these sensors do are simply detect the motion in 3 different axes. So it can detect every different direction that you're moving. That's a sensor that's pretty typical on most wearables today for sports and fitness. Now, this does have a different sensor that is unique to this band that I haven't seen on other bands, and that is the red and infrared PPG sensor. This is not a typical optical heart rate sensor that you would get on most bands which glow green. This is actually a red sensor, and it can detect additional metrics. So this would include not just your heart rate, but also your blood oxygen saturation, your respiratory rate, and your heart rate variability. Now, unfortunately, this sensor can only track those metrics at rest. It cannot track those metrics when you're exercising or during activity. Now, what that means is that at the time of this release, the BioStrap cannot measure your active heart rate during exercise, and that is a big issue. However, BioStrap is in the process right now of updating their firmware so that this will be compatible with external heart rate sensors, Bluetooth sensors like the Polar H7 or the Scosche Rhythm Plus or the Wahoo Ticker, in order to get your heart rate during active exercise. So that firmware update should come out sometime in the next couple of months, and that will add a whole new layer of biometric tracking that this currently lacks. Now, in addition to superior heart rate tracking, one of the features that this boasts is that it does full body activity tracking, meaning that it will detect workout related or strength training related exercises. It will be able to tell you what exercise you were doing and how many reps you did. It does this by offering a library of many different exercises that it will automatically detect and track. Now, if your exercise doesn't happen to be in the library, you can add it and you can perform the exercise in order to train it a new exercise that it doesn't already include in the library. Now, that means this is going to have a little bit of a learning curve. You're going to have to take some time to set up all of the different exercises that you normally do in the gym, but once you have it set up, it will automatically detect those exercises when you go into a gym and perform them, and it will also count the reps for you. Now, one of the things that I found interesting was that I did perform several workouts without training the device to recognize any of my exercises, and it did detect that I was doing weightlifting as opposed to other kinds of cardio or running or other style of exercises. And this is what it showed me back on the app. So even though I hadn't trained the device, it was able to tell that I was doing some upper body gym-based exercises, and it tracked the repetitions for me. Now, in terms of once I had programmed the device, it was able to differentiate between the different kinds of exercise that I was actually doing. So I'll show you that screenshot now. Now, anytime I would do a workout routine, say 10 exercises, there would always be 2 or 3 that it would incorrectly identify, and I would have to go back in and let it know which exercise I was actually doing. So that's nice that you can at least go back and edit. One thing that you can't edit is the number of repetitions. Now, it did a really good job tracking my repetitions. It was typically only off by maybe 1 or 2 reps, and so I can't really complain there, but I still wish that it would allow me to go back in and edit the reps. Now, once this device gets Bluetooth compatibility with external heart rate sensors, this will be one of the most, if not the most, comprehensive fitness tracker in terms of tracking gym-based exercise. Now, my only caveats are that it will require you to kind of go through a lengthy setup process, and anytime you use the device, you will have to go back in and edit everything and make sure that it recorded the correct activities. Now, in addition to tracking a wide variety of strength training exercises, it has lots of other sports profiles that it will track, including swimming. This is waterproof, and this will automatically track different kinds of strokes and swimming techniques, in addition to several different kinds of cardio exercise. Now, in terms of tracking indoor cardio machines and exercise, this is going to be a fantastic device. The FootPod really helps amplify its abilities. Now, if you're looking to track outdoor cardio exercise, such as running or cycling, these are my thoughts on that. So I just got done with my first run with this, and there's some good things and some not good things. One of the not good things, since we'll go with bad news first, is that the built-in optical heart rate sensor doesn't work for active exercise. Now, I knew that going in, so as of right now, you can't get heart rate data while you're exercising. But it's coming, that's the thing. They are definitely doing some firmware updates. So it did track my distance. It gave me an estimate of my distance. It was like 1.2 miles, 1.22 miles, and I actually went about 1.45 miles. And I think that's because my stride rate, it's estimating my stride rate because it doesn't have GPS, whereas with my Garmin Fenix 5X, it does have GPS, and my stride rate is a little bit longer since I have a long gait, long legs, and so it shortened me just a little bit, and so I actually have bad form for a runner. If I was doing proper form, it probably would have been a little bit more accurate, or if I didn't have such a long gait, it probably would have been a little bit more accurate, but it did track my steps accurately, and it just didn't get my distance. And because it didn't get my distance correctly, then it also didn't get my pace totally correct as well. It shorted me about a minute on my pace, which is fairly substantial, but it was a short run. Now, I also took this cycling, and even though it couldn't give me distance estimates, it did go ahead and give me my cadence, how many pedals per minute I was doing. So that's helpful information. But my main takeaway is that if you're someone who focuses mostly on steady-state cardio exercise like outdoor running and cycling, this device is probably not the best suited wearable for you. There's other options out there that are even cheaper that would include GPS that would give you better data. This seems more geared towards those who would do gym-based or indoor-based activities and exercises. Those who need GPS to track distance and stuff like that are obviously going to probably want to consider other devices. Once the BioStrap adds the compatibility with Bluetooth external heart rate sensors, that's going to be a game changer for this device. It's going to add a huge feature that it lacks right now. Now, again, this does provide resting biometrics that are really helpful. Your respiratory rate, your oxygen saturation, your heart rate variability, and your beats per minute. It will look at all of this information. You can click the question mark in the upper right-hand corner, and it will give you an explanation of each of these biometrics that it is reading and taking measurements of throughout the day. Now, in addition to that, it'll let you know if your heart rate variability is a little bit low, meaning you're under a little bit of stress, or if it's high, meaning that you can take on more stress. And so you'll have kind of a reading underneath one of each of these different biometrics to tell you if it's normal, if it's high, if it's low, giving you some feedback, letting you know what your exercise and what your activity and what your sleep is doing to your body. Now, this is a little bit less intuitive than something like the Whoop strap, which gives you direct coaching feedback based on these numbers. This assumes that you understand the science a little bit and that you'll make those adjustments yourself. But it's worth mentioning that not many devices are giving you this level of biometric feedback data points, and so that's definitely something to take into consideration as you're shopping for a wearable. So I'm probably going to want to revisit this wearable in a couple of months because it has a ton of potential right now. I really like where BioStrap is heading. I really want to give you guys another look at this device once this becomes compatible with external heart rate sensors. So stay tuned for part 2 of this review coming sometime in the next couple of months, but for now, I've droned on long enough. Hey guys, thanks for watching. My name is Eric and I'm the Techy Agent. We'll catch you next time.